Welcome back, YouTubers. This is Inland Northwest Native News. I'm your host, Jeff Ferguson.
And I'm your co-host, Margo Hill. Gest squelkst.
And apparently I missed the purple memo. Hey. All right, it is that time of year again, and we are rapidly approaching March Madness. As you can see, we got a few Zag fans in the house, and they are going in ranked #1. They, I thought St. Mary's was going to give them a little bit better run for their money last night, but they were saying it's just not the same team that they had last year. So anyhow, hopefully we'll see some good b-ball before the big dance, and go Zags.
Yeah, we'll keep you posted.
All right, so if this is your first time joining us, we'd like to thank you. Here at Inland Northwest Native News, we cover news that is important to you on a national, regional, and local level, covering news for tribes, 11 tribes of the Inland Northwest, as far west as the Colvilles, down to the Yakamas, the Umatilla, the Warm Springs, the Perce, over to the Blackfeet, up to the Kootenays, the Salish Kootenai of Idaho, Coeur d'Alene, Spokane's, Colville's, Kalispel, and...
For Steve Small Salmon, we'd say Ponderay. Yeah.
Ponderay. All right. So, yeah, and we are doing this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning at 8 a.m., and we'd like to invite you to join us. We were approaching 450 as far as our followers went, or our subscribers, I should say. On YouTube, you can like and subscribe, so you'll be notified when we do the morning show. And, of course, when we get back to doing our monthly episodes, you'll be notified for those too. Which reminds me, if you haven't had the chance to check out some of the old stuff, if you go into the YouTube channel, you can check out stuff that we shot at Elmo, some of the stuff that we shot various places around the Northwest, different powwows, different events. We did Leanne Campbell's basket hat class down on the Coeur d'Alene res in one of the early episodes, and then of course we had Chad Yellowjohn, and we had I had quite a few. Dan and Ampkin came over and did an interview with us.
Yeah, if you're jonesing for some powwow time, we were up at Arlee. We did the Jingle Dress Iron Woman special.
Yeah, the Iron Woman special.
Yeah, so check it out, the YouTube channel. And if there are stories that are interesting to you, give us a shout out. Let us know. We have a lot of our viewers that say, hey, you guys should cover this, or hey, look at this, or what's happening on the Blackfeet reservation, or all of our friends from Cowlitz to right locally here at the Spokane tribe. We're covering sports, cultural events, political events, and if it's interesting to you, it's interesting to us, so let us know.
Yeah, for sure. And that reminds me too, if you need your powwow fix, I have my own YouTube channel, J Ferguson Photos. If you go there, I've got, 450 powwow dance videos, lots of jingle dress, lots of there's round bustle stuff, there's men's traditional, just all sorts of stuff from powwows from the Inland Northwest that you can check out. Some of them do pretty well. Whelpinut's got the jingle, I think it's teen jingle from like 2 years ago. It's got like 25,000 views on it, something like that.
Yeah, prairie chicken specials. We were up at Omak Stampede for the suicide race. So yeah, check it out.
All right.
Okay, but Jeff, we better jump in.
I know. We've already blown the first 5 minutes already.
Okay.
So all right. So our first story is this is kind of a unique one. Here, let's go right to it. I think I got it.
So it's talking about toll roads and if they're an option for Indian reservations in need of road repairs. So this is in Eagle Butte, South Dakota. Are toll booths coming to Indian reservations? So in recent years, states have considered toll roads as a way to raise repair funds. Now, one South Dakota tribe is considering this option for its reservation. Citing inaction on the part of the federal government to adequately provide funding to repair roads on the reservation, Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe Chairman Harold Frazier is in discussions to begin a feasibility study to determine if the tribe should set up toll booths in the state and federal highways that run through the reservation. Currently, there are no toll roads in South Dakota, and the Cheyenne River Sioux, the Cheyenne River Indian Reservation is experiencing severe road damage this last spring due to excessive and prolonged floods. Frazier said damaged roads on reservations can add undue travel time for tribal citizens when traffic is diverted on the reservation. So he stated that we need to take such action because the federal neglect in infrastructure, property, and so they have initiated. I have been all over Indian country and realized that the federal government is not interested in helping anyone, so we have to do it ourselves, Frazier said in a statement. So according to the tribe, if current weather trends continue, the infrastructure will further degrade. So, the roads are damaged, have not been repaired from previous floods and damages, and they're vulnerable to further erosion and rainy weather.
So that, kind of brings up a few questions. First of all, I know that some tribes have gone to taxation. They started taxing people on the reservation for various things. Sometimes it's, just certain things like cigarettes, tobacco, alcohol, gambling, things along that lines in restaurants. Prepared foods, and I don't know. I thought I heard one tribe was starting to tax groceries for non-tribal members. I thought that was kind of interesting. But this is a way of them, I guess, kind of diverting the whole taxation, so they don't have to tax everybody on it, just the people using the toll roads. I know you work in tribal transportation. What can you tell? What do you think about this?
So it depends. Roads, it's going to vary from road to road. In our tribal jurisdictions, we have state roads, we have county roads, we have our own tribal roads that are part of our inventory. That we track through BIA. So it's going to depend on the status of the roadway. And some tribes have fuel tax agreements worked out with their state. For example, here in Washington, many of our tribes have fuel tax agreements. And when we sell gasoline, like at a Spokane fuel, then that tax goes back to the state and then is refunded to the tribe. And the tax agreement says that we're going to spend that fuel tax on roads and law enforcement. It's kind of bottlenecked. I was pretty irritated when I was a tribal attorney to be told what to spend that money on. Of course, I'm a transportation planner, so I believe in repairing our roads. Here is a very creative solution. I'm not sure how the tribes have it set up in South Dakota. I know we have fuel tax agreements here.
Well, it's interesting. They talk about the how it creates delays for commuters. Whoever thought that there'd be so much traffic on the res, you just can't get through. I'm in a jam down on Res Road. Hey, it's interesting, but I know a lot of the reservations are so checkerboarded. When you get down to Coeur d'Alene is one of them, and another one that comes to mind is Muckleshoot over on the coast there. And so when you start doing, start looking at that part of it, and it's so congested and checkerboarded, and I guess this is a solution that helps to subsidize that. And I could see that casinos can't pay for everything,
right?
And clearly there's a need. So
the real frustration, Jeff, is that most people don't understand tribes don't have a land tax. We don't tax our tribal members and have a coffer that fills up. Mainstream America, they have a land tax, and so they're constantly building up their coffers to provide basic services. Tribal communities, a lot of our folks are living under the income poverty level, and so we don't tax our folks the same way based on land. Those are our ancestors reserved those lands to themselves, so we don't tax our membership, but that's how much of mainstream America generates revenue to provide their basic services. We don't have that. As you mentioned, some tribes are beginning to tax some folks in their communities to provide those essential services.
Yeah, for sure. So hopefully we can keep an eye on that and see how well it works for them. They could be, setting a precedent or creating a new model. That's pretty exciting stuff. So moving right along, the Rawhide Press posted not yesterday but the day before, there's a job opportunity, and this is out of the Midnite Mine with Newmont Limited Liability Corporation, water treatment plant operation, reference 10266. this is an excellent long-term opportunity for a local person or someone who wants to come back to the community. We'll leave the link for this at the Newmont website. You can search job number 10266, or you can contact Joni Winecoop as a deputy director, Spokane Tribe of Indians, at 509-458-6519. And if you want to know a little bit about the Midnite Mine, about 11 years ago now, I did a short documentary film on the Midnite Uranium Mine on the Spokane Indian Reservation. It's still up on YouTube, so you can go to YouTube and just type in Midnite Mine and check that out. We do a tour of the site and show a bunch of the videos. It's changed a little bit because of the reclamation on it, but a lot of it's kind of still the same too. So anyhow, moving right along, we have another great story. This one about
a Browning teacher wins the Montana Global Educator of the Year award. So this is real exciting. This is from Great Falls Tribune. Diana Bird, a Blackfoot language teacher at the Cutswood Immersion School in Browning, has won the Montana World Affairs Council Global Educator of the Year award. Wow. Bird, 79, who has been teaching Blackfoot for 45 years, uses songs, stories, and games to help the students learn the language in new ways. She also consults developers of mobile language apps, helps organizations with translations, and collaborates with other tribes to promote and preserve indigenous languages. It's very rewarding, Bird said. I've worked many years in education, and it's made me feel really good to receive this recognition. It inspires me. It inspires me to keep teaching. So here she is, almost 80, and she's kicking butt. Bird said, preserving the Blackfoot language is critical in understanding the tribe's culture and tradition. If you lose the language, you lose a lot of meaning in our cultural ways. People have taken everything from us, but they can't take our language. How cool is that? Our language is our way of life. It's who we are, and it's our culture. It means so much, it's almost hard to describe, she said. Also, she noted that during the 1800s and 1900s, Native American children were forced to attend the boarding schools where they physically and emotionally were abused for speaking indigenous languages. So while many people stopped speaking languages like our elders, Bird preserved this knowledge, which in many cases is not written down.
Yeah, and it's it's a sad fact. That's there's tribes out there that have lost all of their fluent speakers, and that's unfortunate. Here she is, just really pushing the envelope at 80 years old. Holy, I don't know if I'll be moving around or even have the energy to teach at 80 years old. I can't even say at 60 years
So
old.
shout out to Diana Bird.
Yeah.
Blackfoot Nation.
Yeah, doing very, very good things. So speaking, we have another story. This one's from Browning. Let's go in. So another one from Browning. So this is our Browning episode. This one can actually, so I'm going to go back just one real quick because we do want to acknowledge the sources on this. This one that came out of the, where was it out of? The Great Falls Tribune was the Browning teacher one. And then Native News Online was the story that we had ran on the transportation and the roadways. So this one is coming out of Great Falls. And we want to talk a little bit about this because this is something that's pretty exciting. This is Montana Sports ran this article, and this is a Browning boxer. Let's see. Here we go. Browning's Billy Wagner enters top rank boxing event with Todd Foster in his corner. This is by Tom Willie, and this was posted on February 17th. Out of Great Falls, Montana, Browning is preparing. Billy Wagner is preparing for the biggest fight of his life. On Saturday, he'll step into the ring at MGM Grand in Las Vegas to face up-and-coming professional prospect Javier Martinez, who's 2-0 on the undercard of a top-ranked boxing event, headlining by a WBC title fight between Miguel Burchell and Oscar Valdez. Moving right along. Jimenez is a top-ranked fighter. He won U.S. Olympic trials in 2020 and was supposed to be on the Olympic team for 2021, Wagner said, but they had him as an alternate so he could just decide to turn pro, and I'm going to be fighting with him for his third professional fight. That's pretty cool. So I got a few photos here. Goes on to state that for Wagner, it will mark the 5th time he stepped into the boxing ring as a professional. His record sits at 3-1. His lone loss coming via unanimous decision to Alexis Espino, who's 5-0, another top prospect, back in May of 2019. So this is a great article. If you want to check it out more in depth, we will definitely leave the link to this. Foster is a 1987 Golden Gloves national champion who competed in 1988 Summer Olympics in South Korea and won 41 fights and 46 bouts over the course of a highly successful 12-year career as a professional. The two have been training together at the Electric City Boxing Club for a little more than a year. That's pretty cool. 41 fights, 46 bouts. Pretty cool.
Yeah. That's an amazing record.
Yeah.
That's an amazing record. Very cool.
So we are going to move it over to Toppenish. We have Toppenish.
Yakama Nation. So as cars passed through one of the city's busiest intersections Wednesday, people stood holding posters showing the faces and names of indigenous women and men who have gone missing or who have been murdered. And these there in White Swan, from December 27, 2018, and Karen Lucy, John Lee Wallahi, who was last seen in Hera on November 7th, 1987. They showed even Tony Peters, who disappeared in October 2014. These are indigenous people that are going missing consistently. More than 32 indigenous women have been murdered and have gone missing on and around the 1.3 million acre Yakama reservation over the decades. Many men and women and boys have disappeared as well, have been murdered or died mysteriously. Most of the cases, Jeff, are still unsolved. So we look at people continue to gather. Here it's in Toppenish to remember the MMIW. One case, Strong's remains were found July 4, 2019, and her death is still being investigated as a homicide. So like many others, her family and friends still seek answers and want justice. Quoted, Roxanne White's quote is, "We're not going to stop. We're not going to go away. We hope to encourage and amplify your voice." And she is the founder of Missing and Murdered Indigenous People and Families, who organized this walk and vigil for, the release there followed. It was right nearby Pioneer Park. We're here to let the community know that our loved ones will not be forgotten, White said. Her organization represents all indigenous missing and murdered people to raise awareness. And again, this comes out of the Yakama Nation, and it's I can't remember which newspaper.
So
the Herald, Yakama Herald.
The Yakama Herald Republic ran it, but it showed up on the Wenatchee World website.
Okay.
So again, we'll leave the links to those in the comment section below.
Okay.
So yeah, that's in Toppenish. That's pretty cool. They're still,
of the counties across the state, Toppenish, even though the population density is low, it's still one of the highest rates of murdered missing indigenous folks.
Yeah, that's pretty.
So we're working with State Patrol and trying to resolve our people going missing.
That's Patsy's res, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Patsy Whitefoot. And she's been a longtime advocate. She's testified for bills in our state and others to work on resolving and finding our people.
Yeah, sorry about that. Say it, don't spray it, eh? All right, so yeah, shout out to the Yakamas and shout out to Toppenish.
Our prayers are with their families as they continue to look for their people.
Yeah, so moving right along, we have an update on our favorite candidate for Secretary of Interior, Deb Haaland. This one coming out of Indian Country Today. On February 16th, Joe Biden nominated Haaland for the Interior's top post in December. The Senate Committee on Energy and Natural Resources will consider the nomination of Republican Deb Haaland as U.S. Department of the Interior Secretary during a hearing scheduled on February 23rd. The news came Tuesday, nearly a month after President Joe Biden was sworn in and nearly 2 months since her selection. If confirmed by the Senate, the New Mexico Democrat would be the first Native American to serve as a cabinet secretary. Their hearing will be live streamed on the committee's website beginning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So you have to get up real early, real early if you want to catch that one on Pacific Time. Again, it's February 23rd, 9:30 Eastern. Location is Dirksen Senate Office Building in Washington, D.C. A voice like mine has never been a cabinet secretary or at the head of the Department of Interior, Haaland said after being nominated by President Joe Biden. If confirmed, Haaland will be the 6th in line to the presidency as Interior Secretary, according to the White House. That's pretty exciting. Not that we'd ever want to see that come into play, but as far as 6th in line, but as far as it goes for Interior Secretary, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that'll be Tuesday morning, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll be up and watching that. Maybe we can bring you a clip from that, but I'll be next Tuesday.
Yeah.
We'll bring it to you Wednesday, maybe.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see how many things that she would be able to get through in her time as Secretary of Interior, because there's a lot of things that I know. I know when they changed the BIA rep down in Portland, that he said they had a whole stack of things that had built up because his predecessor had become ill. I think that's why he took the last couple months off, but it just stuff stacks up, and I'd be interested to see maybe there would be a way we could maybe keep count or keep track of all the things that she does if she gets in office. So anyhow, keep an eye on that.
Just natural resources, somebody that's looking out for Mother Earth. And I'm sure there's a lot of issues going on.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
mining and waterways and forestry, Tonga National Forest, all sorts of stuff.
National parks,
National parks, yeah. So anyhow, moving right along.
So another story we have is a Navajo engineer talks about life at NASA, and the rover set to land on Mars. So a NASA rover launched from Earth 6 months ago to collect rock core samples on Mars. It will make a landing on a dry lake bed on the red planet this afternoon. So many of you might have seen the pictures, but we have, the Perseverance rover, the 5th robot NASA has launched since 1997 as part of a larger mission to understand whether life exists on Mars. And here we have team members like Aaron Yazzie. He's a Dene from the Dene Nation, one of just a handful of Native Americans working on the project. The car-sized Perseverance rover will extract rock samples from Jezero Crater over the next 2 years. Yazzie, who's a mechanical engineer at NASA, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California, told Native News Online that when a meteorite hit the planet 3.5 billion years ago, there was a lake in the crater, meaning that the core rock samples are likely to hold ancient rock formations. So this is really exciting. Because Mars and Earth are rocky terrestrial planets, they both developed over billions of years in a similar way. But at the same time, if we know that Mars and Earth have developed similarly over long periods of time, then why do we look like? Why do we look different? All these kind of things, these are questions. Life could have formed, they're just forms of Earth. Plausible question. And this is just really exciting. So we see Aaron Yazzie from the Dene Nation out there doing it at NASA. So that's really exciting. This was a $2.7 billion mission that blasted off from Cape Canaveral, Florida, July 30th. But anyway, that was just really exciting. Scientists, doing this work under, lots of circumstances. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. We have a NASA Navajo. That's just too cool. Who'da thought that?
So thank you for Native News Online who brought that story to us.
Yeah, pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah.
We have a couple of shout outs we want to do before we wrap it up. We have first of all, thank you to our new subscribers, Robert McCollum, Jennifer DeGraffenried, I think that's how you say it, Willis Wagner, Chattel Wallace. Compound 32. Compound 32.
And I want to give a shout out to Liz Peasley. She's one of our canoe journey buddies. The Hill Kids just love her. Shout out to Liz Peasley. Also, my brother Reagan Bond. He's over on the west side. My other
is he still at Orcas Island?
He is up at Orcas Island. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So
Very
shout
cool.
out also to William Wynn. He's over in the middle of the United States. Also, Rit Bellis. Rit Bellis was an attorney that worked for many years for the Colville tribe. So I just got all kinds of shout outs. Gracie Dennison.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to all you natives out there.
Bill Matt Sr. Pamela Carr. And Ryan down at Two Rivers. They ran into
Ryan
Ryan.
Avery, yeah. He was out at taking a Klawowie out to lunch the other day.
Nice, very cool. So yeah, thank you once again for joining us. Again, if you have any questions or comments, anything you'd like us to cover, we do have the ability to do Zoom. We can do a Zoom interview. If there's somebody that you think we should interview, we could do that. We can also do video clips. If you guys want to send us some video clips that you'd like us to run, you can message us right through Inland Northwest Native News on our Facebook page, or you can message us through YouTube, either or. But we want to thank you for joining us, invite you to join us again on Monday at 8 a.m. And also check out the old episodes. You know, if you're just sitting around, want something to check out, there's some pretty good stuff. There's some pretty good interviews on there. We did some of the canoe journey stuff. I got an interview with Net Pion in the early on days,
and we have a couple more coming up.
Mm-hmm.
We have an elder from up in Elmo doing a little bit of his work, talking about kind of his spiritual journey through sobriety. Also, just a couple more shout outs. Bill Young. He's a history professor at Eastern Washington University. He worked on a documentary. He worked with Jeff on the Spokane River. So shout out to Bill Young's. Hector Mendoza. It was just his birthday, and one of my nephews, Cody Stensgar. So we're just remembering all our friends today. We thank you for joining us. Again, please message us any stories, any ideas. We're going to come up with some interviews here pretty shortly. We've been trying to kind of let COVID die down, but bad words.
Yeah.
Trying to let COVID relax a little bit, and then we're going to do some interviews.
Yeah. So, I think that's about it for me. It's an honor to be here. Thank you once again for joining us. It's a great day to be Indigenous, and remember, you are your ancestors' wildest dreams.
Nemeth Weechman.